Hey everyone, what's up? My name's Alex, aka Ronder, the coach of the Seattle Starapotrs, here to bring you a Season 4 LSBA video. Today I'm going to be doing team preparation for my Week 1 match against Jacob, coach of the Port Angeles Teddiursas. So I'm going to, since this is the first team preparation video that I've ever done, I'm going to quickly walk you through my LSBA team building philosophy, more or less. And then just hop right into the quick team analysis and building my team on Showdown. So first of all, the first thing that I always do is I take a look at my opponent's entire roster of Pokemon, and either on a piece of paper or just on a notepad document or whatever, I will quickly go through and identify which of my Pokemon can kill the Pokemon in question. So, as I've mentioned before in past videos, and anybody who knows me will know this, but the style of play that I most often run is Hyper Offense, and my draft pretty clearly reflects that. It's comprised pretty much entirely of wall breakers, setup sweepers, and like support/tech Pokemon. And so it's really nice being able to build or focus on just what can take out the opposing Pokemon. That's more or less, I don't have to worry about taking too many hits. I mean, I do have Como and Meloetta on my roster that are able to take hits, but I'm way more concerned with being able to take out the opponent's roster of Pokemon efficiently. And then from there, I select the best Pokemon overall for their roster. That's obviously I have 11 Pokemon to pick from, but you can only bring 6. And then from there, I can go in and fill out their moves that they'll need based on some things might need a Lorb or a Band depending on the damage calculations for a specific Pokemon, and also just figuring out what coverage moves they need. Because unlike when you're building a team for the OU ladder, or any meta ladder really, in the LSBA, you're never going to be running the exact same coverage that you would on a standard set for any Pokemon. I mean, you can, and that's a totally valid way to do it. We've had players in the past such as Sean, coach of the Tequila Tentaquils, who ran this exact team of Landoti, Garchomp, Clefable, Latias, Entei, and Mega Caesar all season last year and didn't change up their movesets, and they were all completely OU picks, and he ended up placing 3rd or 4th place last year. But in general, you're going to be tailoring your coverage moves towards the other Pokemon on your roster that maybe you didn't pick that Pokemon specifically to take out the other Pokemon that you're looking at, but since you have extra move slots, you gotta fill them in with something, and so either running specific tech moves or unusual coverage is usually the way to go. Alright, so with that, I'll get right into it. So I'm going to pull up a notepad document here really quick. And so, on Jacob's team, first we have Florges. So, Florges is a Pokemon that is slow, but it's very especially offensive as well as especially defensive. I don't know why I have 2 calculators open. Let's see, let's take a look at Florges' base stats. It's got that base 112 special attack, which isn't super strong, but it's not super weak either. And more importantly, it's got base 154 special defense, so as opposed to its base 68 physical defense. So basically what you want to do is you want to try and take it out on the physically defensive side if you want to, or if you're able to, rather. So just looking at my roster, Mega Charizard X might be something to consider. I'm going to note it down just because it seems kind of solid. Weavile is kind of sketchy. I'll have to do a quick calc to see how much Poison Jab will do to it. Starmie's a no. Volcarona, if it gets set up with a lot of special attack boosts, could potentially break through Florges, and since Quiver Dance boosts special defense, it won't take very much damage either. I'd say the Volcarona is a solid maybe. Jirachi is probably my most solid matchup against Florges, just because it's a steel type, so it resists its Moonblast stab. I checked Florges' Florges' moveset before, and I'm pretty sure that it doesn't get Shadow Ball, so I'll just check that really quickly as well. But, let's see, so actually a quick way to check this now is if you go to the Gen 7 decks, you can check out which Z moves it gets, and its Z moves will be, like, basically it only gets Z moves for attacks that it gets. So we are looking at normal, grass, psychic, and fairy, the only attacking stats outside of, like, hidden power that it gets. So while it could potentially be running hidden power fire or something, I think that Jirachi with Iron Head is by far my best option for Florges. Staraptor seems like it'll probably be a 2-hit KO, especially if he's running a physically defensive one. Azelf's not really a good option. That's... I don't think Azelf gets like Iron Head or anything. It might though. I mean, let's check it out really quick. Hello, Mr. Azelf, or Mrs. Azelf, as the case may be. Let's see, it does get Steel, so that's usable. Z moves transfer only. It gets Iron Tail, and that is it. So I'm not going to be running Iron Tail, I don't think. Not when I have a Steel type already on my team. Breloom's not a good option. That's... I mean, if it was set up, like if I got a Swords Dance off, I could potentially Bullet Seed it to death, but Mach Punch is the main move that I use with Breloom, which isn't good against Florges. Meloetta is actually pretty okay, just because Meloetta's also got good special bulk, so, and it's not weak to fairy moves, so you could probably take a hit or two and potentially retaliate, or cripple it in some way. Como-O is definitely not a good option, and Meteor is sketchy at best. So I'm looking at Jirachi mostly. Charizard and Staraptor are both good options just for sheer wall breaking power. I don't think either of them can OHKO it, but Mega Charizard might be able to after a Dragon Dance. Let's check it out really quick. +1, Flare Blitz is a chance to KO. If I have rocks up, it will. Staraptor, I just know offhand, is going to be a 2-hit KO. And Volcarona is a big if I get it set up to sweep, basically. Alright, Lurantis. I'm kinda going to just sweep over Lurantis really quickly. Lurantis is by far the least threatening Pokemon on Jacob's team. It's only, the only thing that it can really do that I can see just looking at its page is, like, its ability, Leaf Guard only works in the sun, which Jacob doesn't have any sun setting potential, and none of his other Pokemon benefit from the sun, really. And its other ability is Contrary, which would be a fantastic ability, but as far as I'm aware, it doesn't really get a good move to use with Contrary. Gets a lot of grass attacks, it gets Slash, and like the thing is that it has its special ability, or move rather, Solar Blade, which is like Solar Beam but physical. So that would be cool, but Lurantis only has 45 base speed, it doesn't have any form of priority, its attack isn't even that high. Like, I'm just really not that concerned about Lurantis. I'm pretty sure even at +0, Charizard is just going to OHKO it with Flare Blitz. Staraptor can easily OHKO it with Brave Bird, so here, I'll start writing these down. Char X, Staraptor. Weavile will easy kill it. Volcarona will easy kill it. Starmie potentially easy kills it with Ice Beam. Let's check it out. Starmie. Offensive with Ice Beam. Close. I wouldn't trust that matchup, so I'm not going to write Starmie down. Jirachi. What's it going to do to Jirachi with normal and grass moves? Not really anything. Azelf could potentially Fire Blast it. I'm going to write that down. Breloom's actually not that great, just because I don't think that a Mach Punch will cleanly kill it, and it's immune to Spore. Yeah, Breloom's actually really not good against Lurantis, so gotta be careful about that. Meloetta I'm not going to write down because it's a specially Pokemon and Lurantis has that physical attack for it going for it. Como-O could pretty easily Fire Blast it if it wanted to. And Minior, I'm assuming after +2, Acrobatics probably does a ton of damage to it. Acrobatics kills even before +2, then if it's at +2 it does a lot, and if you put it into Shields Down form, it does like way too much. Okay, so if it's at +2 and in Shields Down form, it's gonna do 230%. So Minior is definitely a yes. Moving right along, we have Dusclops, which is actually pretty annoying for my team. I made sure to draft both special and physical attackers, but the bulk of the things that I use frequently and regularly are physical attackers, so that's kind of annoying. And also, I know Jacob likes to run Confuse Ray on his Dusclops sometimes, so you gotta be careful for that, because usually, like, Volcarona or Mega Charizard X would be my, like, go-to Will-O-Wisp absorbers, but if he has Confused Ray and, like, I have Charizard X boosted and it hits itself in Confusion, like, that's obviously a coin flip that could go either way, but in the LSBA, you try not to take coin flips if you don't have to. I'd much rather just nullify it, so Char X is going to be a maybe. Weavile is potentially good to knock off Eviolite, like, that's the big obstacle that you have to overcome with Dusclops. Because if you can get rid of its Eviolite, then you can kill it way easier, obviously. But Weavile's kind of sketchy, because usually in order to get that knockoff, you have to accept the fact that your Weavile is going to get burned, unless you carry a Cleric like Meloetta. Starmie, not really. Volcarona is again a maybe if it gets set up in sweeping. Jirachi can't really do anything to Dusclops. Staraptor, like, gets burned and also probably can't do that much to Dusclops. I don't know. Dusclops, though, let me check to see how much Staraptor will actually do to it, because one important thing is that I don't think that Nightshade works on normal types, actually. Yeah, so it can't Nightshade me, so if it's running that as its only means of damage, Nightshade and Pain Split. Oh, but see, Staraptor, if its Scarf, doesn't do nearly enough, so I can't reliably count on that. Staraptor could revenge it, but it can't, like, do anything to it. I also know Breloom's, kinda not really. One thing that I was toying around with when looking at this matchup is that I could potentially bring, Poison Heal Breloom. If I did that, then Breloom would actually be really good, because if I threw up a sub and use Seed Bomb, or like, I don't know how good this actually is of an idea, but if I do Breloom, and it's Adamant, and it's not Technician, but it's just no ability for the purposes of this, and say I give it Seed Bomb, how much does it do? Not really enough. Not at all enough. Okay, so that is not actually an option. JK. So with Breloom, at best, I could have a status absorber, but it doesn't really effectively kill it. Meloetta is another good option that I'm considering for Dusclops, because Meloetta is interesting in that it's my only other Pokemon besides Weavile that gets knockoff, but it's also a special Pokemon that gets knockoff. So it's like, I'm more than okay with letting Meloetta get Will-O-Wisp, or even Confused Raid, really, at the cost of, like, getting the Eviolite knocked off. And also, it's still a normal type, so he can't Nightshade Meloetta. And also, Meloetta can function as a Cleric, so in case the Dusclops burns anything else, I can always use Meloetta to heal all that away. I'm not sure exactly what the moveset fully would look like on Meloetta, but I'm actually liking Meloetta a lot for this matchup. It also gets Taunt, which just pretty much shuts Dusclops all the way down. Especially if its one attacking move is Nightshade and it can't use it, like, that just straight up forces a switch for Dusclops. Como-O is a kinda, especially if I ran special Como-O. It gets Taunt, which is nice for Dusclops. You can't really do a whole lot to it. Then Minior is a not really. I mean, Minior is another Pokemon that, well, in Shield's Up form, it can't be statused, so I could potentially set up in Dusclops' face, especially if Jacob doesn't know that it can't be statused. I myself didn't know that Minior couldn't be statused in its base form until I drafted it and somebody told me that. So, I guess Minior is a maybe. Next up is Darmanitan. That's a Char X if it's set up. I'm going under the assumption that Darmanitan will be Scarfed if it shows up. So Weavile can't really deal with it. Starmie is a good one as long as it doesn't U-turn me, but obviously Starmie would switch in after it used Flare Blitz or something. Volcarona, again, if it's set up already. Jirachi can't really do anything. Starapotrs a good one. It can outspeed it because it's like 5 base points faster. And Revenge with Brave Bird. Azelf's not really. Breloom doesn't really do a comfortable amount of damage life orbed to this thing. Darmanitan. Like, Mach Punch doesn't even quite do 50%, so I'm not writing that down. Meloetta is kind of sketchy. Como-O with its physical bulk is a good option. And Minior seems like it could be an okay option, actually. Yeah, so Flare Blitz just barely does like 50 to 60%. So if I use that opportunity to set, Rock Slide does Okos me though. Minior is sketchy, but especially if I have a Shell Smash already off, Minior is definitely an option. Pyukumuku is actually like a low-key super threat. Just because, like, my ideal win condition here would be a Volcarona sweep. But, like, if you look on Smogon's Pyukumuku page, the one thing that it says for its OU set is, like, can be used to stop a boosted Volcarona, because if you use the ability Unaware, like, it doesn't matter how many Quiver Dances Volcarona has, because Giga Drain does like 40% to it, so it can just recover that off. So it's actually really scary. That's my big obvious answer to it is Breloom. Like, even though Breloom's not that good in this matchup overall, I'm considering bringing Breloom just because it is a clean way to deal with Pyukumuku. The other thing is that even though Breloom isn't capable of, like, OHKOing anything on Jacob's team, really, what it does do is, like, Mach Punch is always useful. Jacob doesn't have anything that really stops priority, and he only has, like, a couple of Pokemon that are either resisted or immune to Mach Punch, so, like, I definitely see value in bringing Breloom anyways. However, as I go through this, we'll see if Breloom is actually a good choice. So yeah, Charizard X can't really do anything to it either. Thunder Punch only does 42 to 49%. Like, this thing's a low-key threat. I kind of need Breloom to kill this. The two biggies are Meloetta and Como-O, because they both get Taunt. Besides Azelf, they're my only taunters, I think. And also, just like, Pyukumuku's actual just straight up taunt bait. So, like, yeah, I mean, if you taunt it, it pretty much has to switch out. This is another mon that Meloetta is actually really good against, because it's, again, like, besides just getting taunt and knockoff is really important against it too. The main way that has to damage people is to use Toxic, so having Meloetta with Heal Bell can actually solve that issue as well. Meteor won't be able to do anything against it because unaware, so setup is useless. So I'm kind of just looking at Breelu, Meloetta, and Komo-O as my only options for Pyukumuku, really. It's actually terrifying and disgusting. Let me just see what Starmie Thunderbolt does to it really quick. Just because that might be an option. So Thunderbolt, you could eventually kill it. It does 52 to 63. So if he doesn't recover that turn, you cleanly 2-hit KO. If he does recover that turn, then you basically have to wait like 10 turns to kill him because he's getting like 10 to 20 turns to kill him because he's getting all of that HP back every turn. Next up is Ditto, who is also a huge threat because, again, like, between Pyukumuku and Ditto, you can't really set up against Jacob because Pyukumuku just straight up stops all of your setup sweepers and Ditto copies them and, like, has a choice scarf, so it's faster than whatever it copies, and basically just if you have something too strong that it copies, it just sweeps you back. However, and before I did this video, I didn't really want to unveil the strategy that I have for Ditto. However, I'm planning on using it to hopefully beat Jacob anyways, so I'll just go ahead and walk through it. My number one answer to Ditto that I've concocted that'll basically work one time and probably not again after that is Volcarona. So my strategy here is that I'm going to try and remove the couple of things that Volcarona can't really get through. Namely, Pyukumuku has to go first, Dusclops practically has to go first, but as long as Pyukumuku's out of the way and I can get a Quiver Dance or two, oh excuse me, I'm so sorry. If I can get 1 or 2 Quiver Dances up on Volcarona and start killing things, that's like easy Ditto bait. Volcarona setup already is a super ridiculously strong Pokemon. So I'll have Volcarona going in, and Ditto will come in and copy me. However, I'm going to have Hidden Power Rock as one of my moves. And so the thing with Volcarona is that since it boosts both its special attack and special defense at the same time, it's not like a lot of setup sweepers where it'll come in and just like kill whatever you have because it has such high attack and you don't. But what'll happen is Volcarona can only do about I'm going to have Fiery Dance. Basically, Volcarona can't even quite do half with Fiery Dance, given that special attack and special defense are risen the same amount. So the strategy here is to come in and he'll pick any move, probably Fiery Dance, but who knows. And I'll have HP Rock, and HP Rock will just straight up kill Ditto no matter what, and my sweep can continue. And basically, if I can pull the 1-over on him with that, and he doesn't, have Pyukumuku still, then Volcarona should be able to just deal with it easy mode. Because the thing with Ditto is that Ditto has whatever hidden power the actual Ditto has, it doesn't copy your Pokemon's IVs. So, unless Jacob super metagames me and just packs HP Rock for whatever reason, nothing else really can just come in and straight up Oko me. Granted, in order for this to work, I have to have like over 50% HP, because otherwise Fiery Dance will just kill me. But even if he had a move like HP Water, which is 2 times effective, like, it still only does 41 to 49%. So theoretically the strategy should work once. So after this, I won't be able to use this in the second match against Jacob, obviously. Or I can, but it'll be risky business because you'll know what to expect. And it's really going to be unfortunate if I don't end up having to use this in my match against him the first time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's my number one win con, so I'm gonna try and execute it this first time. Other than that, my like backup strategies for this thing are like nothing pretty much. If he thwarts this plan, then I kind of just die. Like overall, Breloom's an okay Ditto counter depending on what he copies. Just because Ditto can come in and try and Mach Punch something, but honestly, Ditto's scary. Like, I'm going to use this strategy to try and deal with it this time, and have to figure out a different strategy to deal with it the next time. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's enough about Ditto. Next up is Alolan Raichu, who is actually pretty concerning because I'll just skip ahead and spoiler alert that Jacob has Mega Heracross, and obviously like either Minior or Staraptor, who are both flying types, are my best option to deal with Mega Heracross just in a like 1v1 type scenario. Obviously if I get my Volcarona strat going and have a sweep going, like Mega Heracross can't stand up to a +1 or 2 Fiery Dance, but basically yeah, like in a 1v1 scenario, Staraptor and Minior are my two Mega Heracross options. However, Jacob has both Raichu, and I'll just go ahead and write down Electrode as well. Skip ahead a little bit, just because Electrode and Raichu have kind of the same counters, essentially. But both of these are fast electric types, where if he Scarfed either of them, and switch them into my Scarfed Staraptor, which I'm pretty much certainly bringing, they could potentially kill either Staraptor, more likely, or if I end up deciding to bring it, Minior. And that's bad news, because then I have to rely on a much less reliable means to kill Mega Heracross, and Mega Heracross is by far the #1 offensive threat on Jacob's team. So making sure that I'm able to kind of take these guys out in an efficient manner is very important. So one thought that I have for both of them is Meloetta, just because Meloetta has that good special defense, so it can potentially take hits from either of them. Let's see, what is base Raichu's base speed? I wonder. Base 110, so how fast is Weavile's? 125? Yeah. Weavile is potentially faster than base Raichu, and if it is just regular Raichu, then it can just knock it off to kill. Oh, that's the other thing with Meloetta, is Meloetta can run knockoff, and that hits Raichu super effectively, which is kind of like the set that I'm going for anyways. Like, let's see, given that it's some random like Rego set, yeah, like looking at these calcs, Raichu just can't do anything to Meloetta. Fake Out does like 6 to 8%, which isn't anything. Thunderbolt does like max 20, Psychic doesn't do anything because it's resisted. So yeah, like, I'm looking at Meloetta as a good option for this matchup as a whole so far. Weavile's a maybe. Again, so that's kind of the problem with my team building too, is that a lot of Pokemon are maybes if I have them set up. Charizard X is a definite maybe if it's set up. Although that's still sketch, because if Raichu is Scarfed, then it still outspeeds a +1 Charizard, but I don't think it can really do anything to +1 Charizard. Charizard, like, resists its electric stab, which tends to be its more powerful stab. Psychic still hurts a lot, but not enough to, like, just kill me, and so I think that's overall okay. So, like, Char-X is a maybe, Volcarona, like, literally just kills it if it's set up and I get my strat going. Jirachi feels like a maybe. Electric moves will hurt Jirachi, but U-turn will hurt Raichu. Breloom's a no. Como is a no for Raichu, but a yes for Electrode, I think. Just because that's Psychic Stab. And then both Staraptor and Minior are no's for both of them. So it's actually really sketch. Like, Meloetta is way too important in this match for too many things. And that's kind of what I realized too. It's like, even as I started my team prep for Jacob like last week, is that his team is actually like, despite how underwhelming it looks at a glance, it's really well constructed and actually ridiculously threatening. Like, I have answers for everything that he has, but the problem is that I've written down pretty much every single one of my Pokemon like once, which isn't good for this type of preparation. Typically you want to like have a couple of Pokemon show up a bunch of times, like, oh yeah, if I bring Staraptor, I just murder half his team, and then so that you can just plan the rest of your team around killing the things that Staraptor can't, or whatever, but that's not really the case for Jacob. This is going to be hard fought. So now we get into his hazard removal, Sandslash, and Crobat. And Crobat is also good for things like Tailwind. I know Jacob likes to run occasionally, which could be really problematic. Crobat, like, Jirachi is just my answer. I'm bringing Jirachi no matter what. And, like, nothing outside of Heat Wave Crobat can touch Jirachi with, really. U-Turn doesn't do much, Resisted Brave Bird doesn't do much, and Poison is completely ineffective. I suppose he could be bringing a Crunch Crobat, but I don't think he's going to be bringing Scarf Crobat. And I'm pretty much running Scarf Jirachi, so we'll see how that goes. And Jirachi just kills with Zen Headbutt, pretty much. Other options are like Weavile with priority. Set up Charizard or Volcarona. Set up Minior. Yeah, so Crobat's not super threatening, but I also, like, again, don't have a lot that can kill it, not set up. And Sandslash is kind of easy. I mean, it's got good physical bulk, but Breloom can deal with it. Weavile can deal with it. Starmie can deal with it. Set up Char or Volk or Minior can deal with it. Well, actually, maybe not Minior. I'm not going to write that down. Then, last but not least, we have Mega Heracross, which, again, is, like, thankfully slow, but if he gets a Tailwind set up with Crobat and then goes into it, that's an issue. Tailwind is actually a big issue. That's if I see Crobat at the team preview, I pretty much have to lead Jirachi just to stop it and its shenanigans. That aside, thankfully Jacob doesn't have any dark type, so I can just click Zen Headbutt freely pretty much. So for Mega Heracross, Staraptor is the obvious, like, best answer. Minior is like a close second. Como potentially. I found out that I think that according to Cerebi, Bulletproof protects against both Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, I think, which are not the moves that Heracross would be using against me, but... or no, not Overcoat, Bulletproof. Bulletproof supposedly guards against Bullet Seed as well as Rock Blast. So that would pretty much limit his options down to Leech Life, or not Leech Life, you know, Pin Missile or Arm Thrust. Both of which hurt Como, I'm assuming, but like, he can't really outright kill me, which is nice. That's... Close combat does way too much damage to be comfort, or for comfort rather, but like, Como can kind of revenge kill it. Kinda. Otherwise, Meloetta with a psychic move, if I have room for that. Jirachi potentially with a psychic move. Volcarona or Char X if they're set up. Actually, maybe not even. How much does Charizard X do with Flare Blitz as a clean Oko? Okay, so that's nice. Volcarona is not a clean Oko with Fiery Dance if Fire Blast isn't even. See, this is unfortunate because I wasn't planning on bringing Char X, but Char X is actually really nice too if I can get it set up. And then another big factor to consider is what kind of hazard setting does he have? I'm like 90% sure that Sandslash gets hazards. Like, I'll check that really quick, but like, if Sandslash didn't get Stealth Rock, I would be extremely surprised. I'll check it out. Yep, Move Tutor Aura, Stealth Rock. I think Sandslash is pretty much the only thing that he gets that gets Stealth Rock. I guess the better way to check this would be to go to Stealth Rock's page really quick and just find out, go into Gen 6 decks and see things that get it by Move Tutor. Heracross might actually, but let's take a look-see. Don't care about breeding, Move Tutor. So Sandslash does. Crobat doesn't, obviously. He had Armaldo Season 2 when he played, but not this year. Not seeing anything. We're into 5th gen now. Nope. Okay, so Sandslash is legitimately his only thing that gets Stealth Rock. And I'm not sure if he's actually going to bring Sandslash against me, just because, like, I don't know. I have 1, 2, 2 ground weak Pokemon. I'm not terribly likely to set up rocks against him just because his team is like all around bulky. It's not really that squishy, and he also doesn't have any glaring Stealth Rock weaknesses like I do. He might bring rocks on Sandslash just to set them up for my Char X and Volcarona, but I'm now debating the viability of bringing both Char X and Volcarona. Before I commit one way or the other though, let's just go ahead and hop into the team builder and see what we got so far. Because this team kind of just builds itself, if we're being completely honest here. So, just because I'm going to try and use the strat, Volcarona actually absolutely has to show up. Oh, and you know, the other thing is that I don't really want to bring both Volcarona and Charizard X, because I want Volcarona to be the only really appealing Ditto target. I'm going to leave the item blank for now, but I'm thinking probably Life Orb or Lefties. I like running Lefties on setup sweepers like this just because it helps them maintain themselves longer. That's especially if you're like not banking, but if you're pretty sure that you're going to be able to get a boost off, then it's kind of worth. I don't remember what I decided about Giga Drain or not. I don't think Giga Drain actually hits a lot on this team, but we'll go through and check in a second here. So I need HP Rock. Excuse me. So let's see. What would I click? Giga Drain versus Bug Buzz on. So Heracross would be Fiery Dance. Electrode would be Fiery Dance probably. Crobat would be Fiery Dance. Sandslash would be Giga Drain, so that's 1 for Giga Drain. Raichu Lowland would be Bug Buzz, so that's 1 for Bug Buzz. Ditto is going to be HP Rock. Pyukumuku is going to be dead or I can't sweep. Darmanitan would be HP Rock. Dusclops would be Fiery Dance. Lurantis is Fiery Dance, and Florges is Fiery Dance. So they're kind of even. The only target that I really need Giga Drain for Sand Slash, and the only one that I really need Bug Buzz for is Alolan Raichu. So let's see what the calc against Raichu looks like, 'cause that's the one that I'm more concerned about, honestly. Alright, so at base, so we have Fiery Dance, we have Giga Drain, and we'll throw Bug Buzz on just for comparison purposes. So, if I have Bug Buzz, I can kill Raichu even from base, which is pretty nice. Fiery Dance doesn't cut it, and Giga Drain especially doesn't cut it. What about if I'm at +1 special attack? Okay, that's a pretty nice case for Bug Buzz, just because if I'm at +1, then Raichu is a lot less of an issue. And if I run lefties, then I don't necessarily have to worry too much about my longevity. Let's see what it looks like against Sand Slash, though. Pretty much, if Sand Slash ends up going down to just Fiery Dance, then we're good. Or if Giga Drain's not a clean OHKO. So yeah, this is a scenario where Giga Drain would be nice, but Bug Buzz does just about as much. And that's at base. I wouldn't be combating it at base probably. If I'm at +1, then Fiery Dance picks up the clean OHKO. I guess the other thing is that, what are they better against other things in general? So Fairy Resist Bug, so Giga Drain, Bug Buzz. Giga Drain, Ghost Resist Bug, I'm pretty sure. Neither. HP Rock, Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, neither, HP Rock, or Fiery Dance really. Giga Drain's technically better because you get healing off of that, and then Fiery Dance. So that's a tough dilemma. I'm tempted to go. Okay, let me look at the Raichu calc one more time, just because this is actually really important. So if I'm at +1, ew, okay, so even if I'm at +1, only Bug Buzz is a guaranteed OHKO. And Bug Buzz is a guaranteed OHKO anyways. If I go Sand Slash, then Bug Buzz almost kills at +0, and Bug Buzz also kills at +1, I believe. Okay, so that makes it easy. It has to be Bug Buzz, just because Raichu is actually a pretty big threat, and so I definitely want it dead. And the other thing is that it's really nice that Raichu dies to +0 Bug Buzz as well. Yeah, it's timid. Yep. Okay, cool. So that's my Volcarona. And since I don't have Giga Drain, I definitely want Leftover. Slowing Body is fun. Okay. So what's the next Pokemon that I really need? Honestly, at this point, it's kind of Meloetta. Like, I've definitely talked myself into Meloetta, I think. On my prior team build that I made for this matchup, it was actually Weavile, but the more I think about it, the more I want and need Meloetta, I think, just because it's too valuable of a diverse Pokemon. So the things that I needed Meloetta to do were to knock off Dusclops, knock off a lot of things really, so knock off is definitely one of the moves that I need. I was looking at it for a Heal Bell, which could be useful for Dusclops, but that's kind of it. like, if I just accept that Meloetta is my heal bell absorber, do I really need, or status absorber really, do I really need heal bell as the thing? Okay, who else was it good against? Electrode and Raichu, kind of. You know, if I don't run heal bell, I could honestly run an assault vest set and kind of, that's really sketchy though. I don't know if I like that. What else can I do? It does get heal bell, right? Like, I'm not just imagining things. Yeah, heal bell's here. Okay, I'm going to throw heal bell on for now just because it seems probably good. It outspeeds an Oko's Mega Heracross, I think. Let's check that, but if I just slap Meloetta in with something like this, maybe not as well as I think. Psychic. Wow, Mega Heracross is a monster. Which I already knew this, but like, oh, this doesn't have any special attack investment is what? Yeah, see, that's not even reliable. So Psychic might not even be worth running, honestly. Cause what else am I hitting with Psychic? I'm hitting Heracross, Crobat could potentially be useful. And that's really it. Psychic's not even worth a move slot. What is worth a move slot is U-turn. Oh, and Taunt is the #1 thing that I absolutely need on this thing. Where is Taunt? Why is it not under... Is Taunt not a move that... Hold the phone. I thought that Meloetta got Taunt. Maybe I'm just lying to you all, and myself. Taunt. Because if it doesn't get Taunt, suddenly Meloetta's still useful in this matchup, but not as useful as I had hoped or wanted it to be. Meloetta, where are you? Why don't you get Taunt? Okay, so I don't know why I thought that Meloetta got Taunt, but evidently it does not. So that frees up another move slot, because I'm still thinking that it's a super valuable knockoff Pokemon and Cleric. It just can't taunt things. So that's pretty much too bad. I'm thinking definitely U-turn. It's funny because at this point I'm pretty much building it as a physical attacker, even though it's got this stat spread, but basically, like, Meloetta is acting purely as utility in this matchup. Like, I'm not going to lie and frame it a different way. One thing I might consider, too, is actually... Ooh, T-Wave could be good. Not in this matchup, though. One thing that I am considering is, since it doesn't get Taunt, and since Jacob really only has one status Pokemon, and I'm okay letting this get statused potentially. Am I okay with running Relic Song instead of Heal Bell? And I might be, because if I did that, how much does Meloetta Pirouette do to Mega Heracross with 252 attack and acrobatics? Like, that's a... oh wait, I have an item. Not a kill. Does it get Aerialist? Is the next question. Nope. Okay. So you know what, we'll come back to Meloetta in a minute. Next up was Komo-o, who absolutely 100% gets Taunt or your money back. I'm thinking Bulletproof because it can potentially switch into moves of Mega Heracrosses. Ooh, you know, okay, I wonder how much your Aerial Ace does to Mega Heracross. Excuse me. With Aerial Ace, does not even that much. Like, yeah, Mega Heracross is kind of a big issue. Thankfully, actually no, thankfully nothing. Close Combat does a buttload. Okay, so anyways, what I'm looking at for you is Taunt. I'm looking at Earthquake, because one of the bigger targets that Kommo-o can help out with is Darmanitan. I'm pretty sure that Kommo-o with Earthquake does like a lot to Darmanitan. And it also eats Darmanitan's Flare Blitz up really nice. Kommo-o is also helping out with Electrode potentially, so Earthquake is a big move for it. Taunt. Alright, Kommo-o, what else do you got? Not setting up with you. I could potentially try and Poison Jab Florges, but I don't think that's going to actually do any damage. Let's check it out really quick. Florges. Poison Jab's an S2 hit KO, so if I caught it on the switch, I could potentially do that. But it also doesn't seem that good at the same time. I'm actually wondering what happens if I run like a Taunt Toxic set. That sounds very un-me though. I feel like... Okay, so say I taunt the Dusclops, what do I do to it next? It probably switches out in all honesty, but... maybe I... go for Swords? No. Like, that's the thing, is that Kommo-o is good for Taunt and Earthquake, that's kind of it. Okay, so we'll leave you with that. Breloom is absolutely essential to this matchup, just for the simple fact that Bullet Seed 2-hit KOs Pyukumuku, easy peasy. Oh, you know, that's the other reason that I like Heal Bell and Meloetta, is I was looking at Soak Toxic Pyukumuku. So I probably am going to do that. I'm definitely running Spore this week, just because putting things to sleep would be ultra valuable. And I'll honestly run Swords Dance, because I feel like my standard kind of Breloom set could be really effective if I get an SD up. That's... I will take a quick look at some calcs, but I think that if you're at like +2, you're rocking that Lorb, Life Orb, and Jolly, I think that it just kind of kills a lot of stuff. Like, it's going to be faster than Florges, because Florges isn't going to be investing in speed, and it just like straight up kills with 3-hit Bullet Seed. Dusclops, if it tries to take advantage of me, like, that's pretty good. Sucks if I get burned, but that's what I have Meloetta for, kind of. Darmanitan doesn't like eating Mach Punch at +2. So yeah, this is confirmed my Breloom set. I'm like, confirmed bringing Staraptor, not Assault Vest. I'm bringing Choice Scarf Staraptor because, like, the main thing that I need it to kill, if I, like, absolutely need to, is Darmanitan. So Brave Bird, I'm bringing Double Edge because of the electric types. I'm bringing U-Turn for pivoting action. And then the 4th move slot, I've been considering all week what I'm going to put there. it'll either be Final Gambit or Tailwind. And I'm kind of conflicted about which one I want, just because... So it can't be close combat like you would typically run, because there's just nothing to hit with close combat on this team that either of the other moves don't hit. So my logic for Final Gambit is that my last slot is going to go to Jirachi. And despite being able, like, I'm running it because it can kill Florges and Crobat first and foremost, but also because Healing Wish is a thing, and that's the reason that I drafted Jirachi. And I'm thinking that Healing Wishing into a low HP Staraptor to bring it back up to full is good, obviously, but I'm thinking that Healing Wish into a Final Gambit could be interesting, potentially. For example, something that Final Gambit can potentially do, Staraptor, Choice Scarf, Final Gambit versus Piyuku Muku does like 99%. Like, if it doesn't see that coming, then that's like an easy kill on one of the more troublesome things on his team. See, I'm not sure that's a good idea though. I almost like running janky Tailwind here, just because even though I don't really see myself clicking it, I don't see myself clicking anything not these three moves, and Tailwind could potentially be useful in the scenario that he sets up a Tailwind or something, and I could potentially get it up with Staraptor so that we can be on equal terms during that. So I think I'm going to run Tailwind, then standard kinda just Fast Scarf EV, so that's that. My two, like, bulkier support Pokemon are kind of in flux, and then lastly I'm going to have Jirachi for sure. I think it's gotta be Choice Scarf. You know, let me see what Crobat with Crunch can even do to Jirachi though. If it's not a lot, then I'm probably not actually going to run Choice Scarf, because being able to switch up moves is actually more important. And also, I'm not sure that Crobat actually gets Crunch. It gets Bite. You actually get Crunch? You fabulous baddie monster? You don't. Okay, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Just for fun, I'm going to run Crobat with... Yeah, like, it just can't do anything to me. What about if it's max special attack with Timid and Heat Wave? It still can't do anything to me. Okay, so there's actually no reason for me to run it with Scarf. That's sexy back. Cool. Okay. So I don't actually want or need Scarf. Potentially, what if I run Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Healing Wish, U-Turn, Fast Physical Sweeper, and your item will be I don't know what your item wants to be. I could potentially try and preserve this and use it as a Focus Sasher, as a, like, last resort, Volcarona answer. I can potentially do 50 to 60% with Zen Headbutt. That doesn't really seem that useful. I could run a Z move on Jirachi. What does Z Healing Wish do? Probably nothing too fancy, but it's worth a look-see, I reckon. Healing Wish. And Z Healing Wish does... Oh, we're still in Gen 7. Or 6, rather. The Healing Wish does maybe nothing. Okay, there has to be something that the Healing Wish does. Maybe Bulbapedia has the answers we crave. Okay, no addition. Oh, well, that's pretty garbage. I could potentially do Zen Headbutt. Zen Headbutt could potentially kill. Okay, let's see. What if I turn it Z? Then Shattered Psyche does a lot. That's kind of a good option. Oh, but then I don't have Focus Sash. Okay, what do you do to Heracross Mega? Delicious. Okay. Well... kind of had an impasse here. Could also just like slap a Choice Band on. Feels kind of bad. Could do Lorb. Also feels kind of bad. Everything feels kind of bad. There's not really an item that I want to put on this thing. You know, what if I do Lefties just because I'm trying to preserve it for Healing Wish, and that way it'll kind of not die as fast, hopefully. Okay, so I got Jirachi kind of locked in, Staraptor kind of locked in, Breloom locked in, Volcarona locked in. I like Heal Bell on you now, knock off U-turn. You just really wish that you weren't a special attacker, don't you? What other kinds of fun nonsense do you get? Slapping Light Screen, or maybe... no, Thunder Wave isn't really good with that many electric types. You know what? I feel like Perish Song has merit, almost, just because it's something that I can use to force Pokemon out if I need to. And I'm just going to go for a full fat build. So let's see, I want 252 special defense and 252 HP, and 4 defense, I guess, and plus, and minus, and we will do that. Just because I'm planning on mostly trying to eat up special hits by like Raichu, and potentially... well, if my Volcarona strat gets messed up with Ditto, there's no salvaging that, but I can dream. And... the other thing that... nah. What do you want? You want lefties, probably. Okay. So there's that. And lastly, this guy. It's unfortunate because between Taunt and Earthquake, you don't really need anything else. See, I could go for some like rude Toxic set. I could taunt things in Toxic, but he's not really built to deal with things like that very well. Okay, so I guess the real question is, what would I be trying to Toxic Stall out? So, Raichu, Electrode, and Darmanitan are all things that theoretically I would be earthquaking. Yeah, Toxic's just not that good of an idea. What else you got? Swords Dance? Potentially, but not really. Rock Slide? Eh. Outrage, Flash Cannon. I suppose I could try and set up a Swords Dance offense. It's too bad that he doesn't really get anything worth hitting most of Jacob's team with, though. He does get Poison Jab. Feels kind of bad, though. I could potentially run a mix set, so I could throw like Clinging Scales and something. Clinging Scales and a Hidden Power, or Fire Blast. Just doesn't really hit anything though. You know what, I like Dragon Tail a lot. Dragon Tail is something that I can use to potentially shuffle something out. And lastly, let's throw on what are the biggest threats we still don't have dealt with? Florges is pretty well dealt with, Lurantis is pretty well dealt with, Dusclops is pretty well dealt with, Orangutan is pretty well dealt with, Pyukubuku is a little sketchy, but I think we got it. Ditto is very sketchy, but I'm counting on the power of Jank to try and take it out. Raichu is kind of scary, but I think that we kind of have it with Meloetta now. Yeah, like Meloetta doesn't have it very well, but well enough, maybe. It's like some set similar to this, Raichu, Alola. Knockoff does like just enough to be worth. Like that's actually pretty good, all things considered. And it's not even a minus attack nature. So it's like, yeah, okay. So good. I think Electrode is fine. Mega Heracross is fine. Granted, we don't throw away Staraptor's life prematurely. Crobat's good. Sandslash is fine. So yeah, I think we have our bases pretty well covered. You know what? Screw it. We're putting Toxic on. We're going physically defensive, and that will be that. Okay, so just to make sure, I'm also going to go through and set all of my mons to level 50 because we're supposed to be simulating a DS match even though we're fighting on Showdown. Level 50 for you. 50. 50. 50. And 50. And got Core Dance, Fiery Dance, Hidden Power Rock, Bug Buzz, and Timid Nature with good V's, and Lefties. Wow, I have way too much Lefties this week. I feel kind of disgusting, but I guess that's just what we gotta do. Okay, so we got Meloetta with Lefties, Serene Grace, Knockoff, Heal Bell, U-Turn, and Perish Song as my random 4th tech move. We're kind of a specially defensive variant. Kind of weird, actually I have a defensive core for once. I never have those. Because to complement that, we have Kommo-o, Bulletproof, Lefties, Taunt, Earthquake, Dragon Tail, and Toxic. You have Breloom with Lorb, Technician, Bullet Seed, Mach Punch, Spore, and Swords Dance. We have Standard, Choice Scarf, Reckless, Staraptor, with Brave Bird, Double Edge, U-Turn, and Tailwind. And we have this Lefties, Jirachi with Dual Stab, Healing Wish, and U-Turn. Lastly, I have to figure out what the theme that I want to go with for nicknaming this week is. I'm tempted to go with some sort of Eternal Sonata theme, because I recently found out that my friend Nick has the Eternal Sonata soundtrack for me here that I can steal from him. So let's go through and name things really quick. Staraptor will be the Great Sword Wielder Jazz. Jirachi can be Polka with her healing cancer, basically. She has magic, therefore she can heal people, therefore she's gonna die. I like Komao as Falsetto for some reason, just because punching and stuff. Which also is Breloom, but Breloom is going to be Salsa, since Breloom's kind of a feistier, quicker little fighter. Meloetta can be... The options are pretty much Serenade. And Volcarona will be... Who do you want to be? You know what, screw it. You can be Allegretto. Actually, no, you're going to be Beat Mania, and people, especially Taco, will love that. Because Beat Mania is going to carry us just like he did for our Eternal Sonata playthrough last year. So lastly, we're going to go in and set their genders really quick. And we're going to call it good. So thank you for watching this team preparation video. I realized that it went on for a long time because I was legitimately kind of throwing my team together for this fight that I'm going to have on Thursday, which this video will probably be posted either Thursday or maybe over the weekend, but I'm recording it in advance, obviously. And I hope you look forward to the battle against Jacob. He's our first match of the season, Season 4. He's also one of our division rivals, so it's very important that we try our best to beat him. Or, in the case that we're not able to beat him, we at least have to learn a lot from the matchup. And we should be doing that regardless of whether we win or lose, because we will have to face Jacob at least one more time later in the season. And so we want to be as ready as possible for that rematch later on, when we inevitably have to go and do it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace!